Hey guys, it's Natalie and David here. Naughty Natty TV, the Man United Women podcast. There's not really any set topic we're going to talk about. We're just going to two friends sitting there talking. Dave, not spoke to you in a while. How's it going?
Yeah, good to speak to you. Like I say, it's been quite a bit. Obviously, we've had the social Sundays, whatever they're called, but yeah, nice to chat to you. A bit better than I've been. I've been out the house a little bit more. Been to the pub twice, which has been great, and saw some friends in town. Obviously, wearing masks and stuff, but all good.
Mm. Yeah, it looks like it's everyone needs to start wearing masks, getting back to normal. Obviously, women football is coming back. They're back in pre-season. There's a video the other day. Katie did a video. We made 3 signings. Obviously, just your thoughts when the players came in. So like Stanley, Honor, Battle, and Eva Fusco, Ivana Fusco.
My thoughts are with Lucy Staniforth. Is she better than what we've got? Probably not, but I've seen her play. I think she's a decent player. She's gonna. It's competition for the midfield because there's been, especially last season, certain players were just playing because you knew they were going to play no matter what because there's no one else to play there, and maybe they got a bit lackadaisical. But now they got to be fighting for their place, which I'm happy with. So her bringing her in is a good option for that. But even people said she can be a bit of a defensive player as well. And in that case, because I can't see Hayley Ladd being dropped at the moment, but maybe we can change the formation up a bit, have a plan B, because we've not really had that at all. I mean, we had a joke, especially the first half of the season. We're talking about, the lineup league, and everyone had the same team each week because everyone knew what the team was going to be. So with that addition, maybe we can change it up a little bit. As for the other two, I can't tell you much about them. I've just heard the names and everyone overreacting about them, but I can't tell you anything about them until I've seen them play. Obviously, we've got a striker, forward player, she's good. We need another option there, but is she going to get us 20 goals a season? We'll have to wait and see. She's not a full international yet, but fingers crossed. And as for on a battle, yeah, it's a position we need. A right back, left back type of player. To be fair, I think Curtis Smith's did well last season. Quite surprised me a bit. Even Amy Turner when she played there. But once again, it's competition for places, and even I've not even mentioned Lotta there. She didn't have the best of seasons last season, but she's going to be wanting to push on and be that left back now. So I'm happy with what we've got, but it's not the marquee signings where you think, right, we're going to go for the Champions League this year. It's just more of the same kind of thing.
Hey, John. John Fry's just jumped in. No, I totally agree with what you just said. Pretty much on everything. Definitely on the Stanley thing. Like, I think me and you have even sat down and said, Amy Palmer. We raved about her probably more, that we probably overhyped her, but we really probably both rated her. For me, I think she's the future England captain. That's how highly I rate her. But if anyone watched Casey's video, she said players need to go out and get development. I think that's what she's done. I think she's going to play week in, week out at Bristol now. Obviously, it hurts that she's going to be playing for a different club, but herself to go on and become that player, I think when we saw it at Sheffield, like, she played half of the championship season for us and she looked good. And then obviously she went out to Sheffield, played a pretty much full season. Obviously cut short COVID, she came back, but she came back and she wasn't playing. And that's probably what she thought when she thought, actually, you know what, I'm not playing now. They're probably going to strengthen again.
Yeah, I mean, talking of Palmer, would I still want her at United? Definitely. I mean, we've seen her more than anyone else, especially for England and Sheffield on loan last season. But is that Lucy Staniforth's fault that she's been sold and been brought in? No. So, I mean, I've seen fans be annoyed that Staniforth's in there because Palmer's not there, but that's not Staniforth's fault.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would still like Palmer. I'm a big fan of hers. Like I say, we've watched United, Sheffield, and England a few times, but it's unfortunately come to an end, and I wish her all the best.
Yeah. John's just said this. Still think we need 2 signings. and standout players we need. Yeah. Listen, we'll go on to that. But no, what you say about Palmer, like I was a bit upset when she did leave, and then I had a feeling, right, she's leaving, Stanley's going to come in, and then obviously that's what happened. I was even saying, Stanley's going to come in, Stanley's going to come in, and like you said, there was a bit of, oh, well, she's not this, she's not that. But even if it's just, I said, Stanley's going to be on the bench, and people are like, she's not coming to play on the bench, but no, it's not about you've come in to do this, you've come in to do that. It's not about guaranteed. No one should be guaranteed the place. That's what Casey said on her little interview with MUTV. No places are guaranteed now, and I think that's what we need to see. I think, like you say, line-up league, we all knew who was going to be playing, who the midfield was going to be, who on the wing was going to be. I think I said it to Fiona the other day. I think there's only two people you can say guaranteed, and even then, Leah and Lad, those are the only two you can for me. And I'm even putting LJ in there and putting Millie in there. For me, Leah and Lad are the only ones that are close to being guaranteed. And even then, they shouldn't be guaranteed because she sort of said, to be a big team, this is what you're going to do. You need two players for every position. And we're going to talk about that. But that's what I think. I don't think we have that. You, Dave.
No, not at all. But I'll just come back to Staniforth as well. What you got to remember about her as well, she's an England international. She's played a few games for England, and last season she was in a very poor Birmingham team, in my opinion, and she was still getting to that England team. So the coaches and people around that, got to remember, Casey was at England, so she knows all about Staniforth. So there is something there. So I'm looking forward to seeing her play. But as for a player for every position, definitely. I mean, look at last season when both Leah Galton and who else got injured at the same time? Yeah, of course, Kirsty Hansen got injured, and we just looked dire. We looked a terrible team, and that was Brighton away. That was without them too. And I mean, we scored in the first minute, but we looked dreadful after that. And when they both, when was it Galton came back first? Was it or no? Hansen came back first. We looked good, a bit better, and then when Galton came out, we just looked like she'd never been away.
She just blew everything up.
Yeah, unreal. But we need them people where when they are injured, or even if they're not playing well, these people who's ready to take that shirt and say, right, I'm having that position for myself. And we don't really have that. Not maybe last season, but even when both of them were injured, Casey wasn't playing her, so maybe that tells you something. But
yeah,
we do. If you want a team that's going to get into that Champions League, I'm not talking about even winning the league yet. I'm talking about getting to the Champions League position. We need to have a strong squad. And you look at everyone else around us. We're just talking off camera before about City, how they're just building that team up. They've already got 3 signings. It looks like 2 more are coming in, and they're really bolstering that team to make it a force. And have we done that really? I mean, we've bought 3 players in, but are they, apart from Staniforth, who's an international, are the other 2, like world beaters?
Anna Battle is an international, that's what I will say. Even though it's 1 cap, she's an international. She's on the way there. Gary's in the chat, sort of agreeing with John, saying 2 signings for every position. John Neville joined. Thanks, guys, for just tuning in. I think as well, like you just said, you said about when Hansen and Leah, and that's where we need, and that's what, to be fair, the gaffers said when we had injuries, we didn't have the backup. And I know Anna Battle's a right back, but I've been speaking to people in Spain who watch a lot of Spanish football, and they're sort of saying can play right back, but she can play winger as well. And potentially that Fuso, she looks very quick, very fast. She looks like an Ebony Salmon kind of player. And I mean, I don't want to go on to her, but that's potentially what we could have had last year. And she's done really well in the Super League. So I mean, I don't want to put all the hope on like a 21-year-old and a 19-year-old, though. I do want there to be some kind of, if say a 19-year-old doesn't score all the goals, is there anyone else? LJ, another 18-year-old, Jess and Jay Moss to step up now and get the goals that we need from them. But that's what we want, to spread the goals out. And obviously, things like if Leah gets injured or if Hansen gets injured, which is bound to happen, there's a lot of games in the season. Can you see her maybe like, these players, like I said, Honor can play 4 different positions: right back, left back, right midfield, left midfield. So can you see her maybe going from changing it, and then say if Honor's at right back, usually then pushing on her forward, putting in Amy or putting in Martha, things like that. Do you see her doing that? Do you see it being fluid more, maybe?
Well, you'd like to think so, but once again, I've not seen these players play, and we don't know yet if they're WSL material. They might be great players, and like said with Honor, she's played for Spain, but when it comes to playing in the Super League against like a Chelsea or a City, is she going to be able to handle it? Fingers crossed, yeah, she's going to be great, but we don't know this yet. Like you were saying before, but off camera again, about when you hear about a player from the men's team, you can go and see clips of them or see games and what they've done, where we don't really know anything about these players apart from the name and the hype behind them. But yeah, I wish them all the best, but until they've put the foot on the grass, I don't know what they're all about.
Can you see? I mean, Sue Mona has just come in. Sorry if I said your name wrong. We're still light in attack. A winger must be signing this summer. And like we just said, even if say Honor can play a wing, but she's more a fullback, you do need that winger as well. And like you said, Hanson, Leah, go, boom, that's it. We've not really got, and I wouldn't even really say. I mean, we watch the devs a lot, Dave. We wouldn't really say unless you put Maria Edwards in the devs down the middle. Is that what you're thinking we need next? Do you think we need defence more, midfield? I mean, midfield is strong. What about winger?
For me, I did think before the season we needed a striker. I wanted an established striker as well, someone who was guaranteed goals. We've not done that, but fingers crossed she does get the goals. I did think a winger as another option. If Honor Battle does that, yeah, great. But will she be happy playing bit part, waiting for them to be injured, or you don't know. I did think a full back, which is on his actual position. Which, yeah, once again, let's hope she does well. Midfield, just to change it up a bit so there's no complacency, and yeah, I think Stanifor's good for that. I did also think as well another centre back as well, just because I like Abby McManus, but she's not been perfect every game. There's been situations where she's looked a bit dodgy at some points, and maybe it's just first season nerves playing at United, but she has played for City for a few years, so she should be used to that now. So it's just, once again, I'm not saying drop her, but just get someone in to shake it up a bit, to get people on the toes, thinking if I don't play well, someone else is going to have my position. And that's what you need in a winning team. If you're going to win things, you need players constantly trying to be better than what they are.
I mean, you've said centre-back, and you know what I think about centre-back, the girl coming through, Poppy.
I'm a big fan of hers, but she's still a kid, and it's a big ask, to put them in the first team. I still think there's another year or so yet before we can start utilising some of these under 21 players, because we did talk about it before, about it's an under 21 team, but they're all under 18, under 9. They're all young kids, so you can't really say, the under 21s, get them in. It's not like that. These kids who are 16 in there, so we got to really. You don't want to put them in the deep end and then find out they can't swim, and then it's going to detriment the future. You need to make sure they're ready at the right time.
So, I mean, do you see more signings? I mean, I've had these chats on. John sort of said the same as you. Centre back and a striker. Do you see her doing anything else? Because people who've watched the video, she said we've had a good window, and whether she meant that until that point, like we've had it, or did she mean we've had it? That's it, finished. And we all know she likes to have people in before. Can you see us getting someone else? There was talk of that Eva Navarro. She's going to Pritt now. She was doing a young one, but it was someone. Can you see her signing someone?
You don't know if Casey's hands are tied. We don't know what's going on in the background, whether she's been given funds or not. I mean, last season they got in 5 players, didn't they? And it's 5 wage bills. So
they got in more, didn't they? Because then the keepers got injured, so they had to get into.
But there's 5 wage bills, and you don't know who's running it. Looking at the finances, thinking, well, we're still paying their wages. Maybe that's why they got rid of Palmer and people like that, because they need to get money off the wage bills. So maybe Casey's hands are tied. I mean, I'm sure in an ideal world, if she was saying giving the money, say like City have had, she'd have bought players. We know last season there'd have been a striker there if the money was there. You know, a certain striker who's went on to do well last season.
Well, two I know that have gone on to do well.
Yeah, but yeah, I think Casey's trying to stay positive, and when she's interviewed, even if she says, "Yeah, I'm happy with everything I've got," I'm sure behind the scenes she's not, and she's saying, "I wish I had more." But she's got to stay positive, hasn't she? And you got to remember when she's putting these things out, she's got to be backing the players she's got. You see, if she starts saying, "Oh well, we've not got enough players, and I've not signed what I wanted to sign," the players who will see that are going to go, "Well, we're not good enough then." So you got to keep the players positive in that way.
This is what I'm not saying Liz. You even talked about Lizzie and said, even when they were injured, she didn't get on. I think, it was the right time for her to go. She's going back to Scotland. It's great. I wish her the best. But that is the place where we're short the most, in my opinion, Dave. And I just think Casey can go, "Oh, we've had a great window." And to me, it did sound like, that's it. And I get where you're coming from, hands are tied, but this is Man United. You can't go into and I get like they want to be self-sustainable. I get it, but we're talking about looking forward. That's what she says. I want to look forward. I want to win silverware. I want to. She said, what was the other thing? Maybe improve our league position. So she's saying, to me, that sounds like, look, I'm aiming for third and a cup kind of thing. That's what people want. The name does that. And I mean, Everton have just made a signing, a French international.
I think Everton have made some good signings so far. So this is what I'm worried about. It's not what we've signed; it's what everyone else has signed around us. And if we want to maintain our position, I don't think we've signed enough to do that.
I think she's had depth. I think, like you say, in the midfield, it looks good now. I think no one's safe in that midfield. That's what you want. You want players on their toes. But I think, like you say, Hanson's sat on that right. I'm not saying that she shouldn't be, but you want her to feel competition. I mean, Jess on the right, obviously she signed down Jess, she signed down Hanson. They were both for 1 year. Like Tooney, 2 years, well, 3. What do you make of that? Those contracts?
Yeah, I'm glad Jess, especially because I think she was not unfairly treated last year, but she was basically you are a Golden Boot winner last season, the first season. Now we've got a new striker. You're either on the bench or on the right wing, and for her, I think she played well in certain games and stuff. But at the end of the day, she's a player that should be playing down the middle with back to goal, getting the ball and scoring. And she didn't really have that many opportunities last season. So I'm glad, in a way, we signed her again because I'm hoping that even change it, like I said before, change it up a little bit. Have 2 strikers on. She's not had the opportunity. She's not had the opportunity really in the Super League, and I really hope she gets the opportunity this season or next season, whenever it starts.
And I mean, people have said to me, "Oh, this one didn't play well. This one didn't play well. This one didn't do this." And I mean, for me, it's like, oh, what happened last year? It's happened. Bang, forget about it. 4th, it's fantastic, but forget about it. For me, it's you're going to get judged now on what you do in pre-season. Obviously, we can't go and see it. We're all hoping to go out. We won't be. But I think that's right. Like, forget what they've done last year. Obviously, Hayley, like we've said those 2 names, Hayley, Leah, LJ did really well. Yeah, you want them to build on that. But a lot of players maybe, I don't want to say disappointed, but, you expected a bit more from them. And now this
we'll take an example of like Jane Ross. She came in, we were told she would score so many goals a season, she's going to be our top striker kind of thing. It didn't really work out for her last season. She didn't. She scored a few goals, but not what we expected. Now I'm not one of them people who say, "Well, get rid of her and get someone else in." No. That was last season. This is a fresh season. Start again. Let's get going again. Do I think we should have? Like I said, do I think we should have had another striker? Yes, but I wouldn't have got rid of Jane. I think there is things from her. I mean, the first time we really saw her in Oslo, it wasn't even the game. It was the
warm up.
yeah. It was some of the goals she was scoring,
Really?
like the chips and stuff. It was like in awe of it. But she don't really do that on the pitch. I don't know whether
confidence.
you
I
don't.
think.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but we can see that she's got it in her. So I think that if she does have confidence and she gets a good run of form, I think she's capable of scoring goals.
Yeah, because the last game that we saw before lockdown, I think she had a really good game.
Yeah, captain.
But confidence as well. I think there was, and what during that game she was up top and Jess was on the right and Leah was on the left, and then Tooney was moving in around her, and I think that really helped her. And there was one moment, Tooney ended up scoring it, which was wrongly we were left side, but a ball went through and Jane was through, and instead of I'm the striker, I'm your number one striker, bang, I'm gonna score. It was I'm going to lay it off to Tooney. And I thought, what are you doing? I mean, Tooney scored. Tooney came from behind her and took it and scored. And then the ref, we're not talking about refs today, but you want someone like that. But come on, Jane.
But yeah, I think it is a confidence thing because we didn't really see. I think you saw it with Jess in the first season where she'd have a go at some points, and she'd either miss or it get saved. But you didn't really see Jane just having a go. If she was at the edge of the box, she didn't think, right, I'm going to smash this. She'd just pass it to the side and try and get a bit of work movement. But yeah, sometimes you just want your striker to have a go, and you'll always get credit if you miss by miles. At least you've had a go if nothing else is on.
I think what didn't help Jane is that we had them 2 games at the start, the City one and then the big games, and we lost them both. And I think, the City chance. I know we want to go on to it, but people saying.
Listen. Should she have scored? Yes, but you can't take away. Roebuck's save was brilliant. It really was, and if it was in the men's game and that was De Gea saving that, people would be having saying what an amazing save. But yeah, she should have scored it, but the save was equally as good.
So there was that, and then the Arsenal one. I don't know if you remember it. That was.
Remind me again. Sorry.
She was through 1-on-1, and she just.
Yeah.
And that I think that was the one because I think people were already judging her, and this is where I'm thinking now. Myself included. I was probably judging her going Ebony, and the girl hadn't even started, and that's why I don't want it to be the same with Stanley and Parma. I think Parma's gone, Stanley's here now. Stanley's going to do well. Stanley FC. But
what you got? I'll give you a bit of credit there. When you've gone on about like Salmon, it wasn't to do with Jane Ross. It was basically it wasn't saying Jane Ross, you're crap. I want what Salmon should be there. That was more towards the coaching staff rather than the player. So you're not having a go at the player. You're just saying what are you doing, getting rid of a certain player.
Yeah. But you know what? Players are going to come and go, and
of course they are.
You just need to let that be and just. But when I think she had that pressure on her, it was her first WSL year, and then obviously she missed the City one. Whether good save by Roebuck, okay, but then that Arsenal one, I think that was a bit more plain and simple. But that was the only chance that they really had in the game. I mean, Tooney missed one right at the start, a header, and I feel like Jane got more of the criticism, and Jane didn't play the next game.
It's because it's a paid signing. That's what it is, and people expect things from when you buy a player. Yeah. People expect things, whereas nobody really expected anything from like the original OG21 because we didn't know what they were about when we first got them. Obviously, we got that Reading game with the Liverpool game first where we won, but the Reading game nobody was at go, oh, these players are crap. It was just like, well, we don't know what they're about, and so they'll always get people backing them more than a new player because people expect stuff from a new player, even though all them players that we got were signings, but to us it was just that's our team.
I want to talk about that. A lot of some people are getting upset about like, oh, the OG21, and I love the OG21. We all love the OG21, but it is changing now. Casey's even said I'm going to have to evolve my team year on year, and with the 1-year contract that he's giving now, I think that's sort of showing. Like, Rooney's getting a 2, LJ got a 3, but say Jess, Hansen, they got like 1 with extensions. And I'm not saying that means they're definitely gone next year. Who knows? Who knows what they're going to do this season and take it. But
But you know what I read?
That was a
Like
mad.
I was talking before about you don't know about behind the scenes about the money, what money's being. Don't read into they've only been given a 1 year contract, so then that's it. Once the year's up, that's because they don't want to give everyone a 3 year contract, and then if something happens, then they've got to keep paying them, or they've got to find somewhere to. It's a lot of behind the scenes things with that. So don't be thinking if one player's got a 3 year and one's got a one, that one's more valuable than the other. I wouldn't read into that.
You don't do that. No, I don't know. I do see the OG21 changing, isn't it? It's going to
Of
more.
course it is.
She
Well,
bought.
you got to remember the original 21 were a championship team. It was only really, I mean, I know LJ came from Arsenal, but she wasn't first team for Arsenal. It was only Greenwood really who dropped down. The rest were championship players really. And now we're in the Super League and we're trying to, what did we finish fourth? And we're trying to get further up. Obviously, it's not rocket science to think, well, if we've got a championship team and we want to get to the top of the WSL, of course we're going to need better players.
I mean, a lot of people here saying, Sue, she sort of said, is it she? I think it's she. Let me just put it on for you, Dave. Top three strengthening, we're falling behind. And I wouldn't say we're falling behind because I think maybe potentially this year we've overachieved.
Of course, by a million miles we've overachieved the last season, finishing fourth. Because we didn't make that many changes, and no matter what you think of Greenwood, she was our best player the first season, and losing her was a big drop, and it showed really. So the fact we got fourth was, I think, amazing. I said before the season started that as long as we didn't get relegated, I'd be happy, and if we were in top half, I'd be even better. And we exceeded that and got to fourth. So it was an amazing season, really.
But for me, Dave, I was always fourth and sixth. I did say sixth.
But you've always been overconfident.
Fourth was always the aim. For me, I didn't see any team apart from the top three as being threats to us. I feel like now it's probably different because Everton are heavily investing, and I feel like Man United need to realise that, I get where they're trying to do this sustainability, but you need to invest to succeed. But I don't want to. I always fought for, because I think we played Arsenal, we played West Ham, we beat West Ham, we played Reading, even though we didn't beat them. They were the most close, and Reading practically finished fourth. Last year we played Brighton, we beat them. His teams. What's happened this year is the West Ham, the Brighton that we beat last year, probably because we were on a high, we were on, this and that. We've struggled against them, and that's where I think a lot of our downfall is from.
But what you got to remember is, last year we were beating teams 4-5-0 every game, and then we'd come up against a Super League team in the cup, and then we've been high on confidence, so we'd go for it. And whereas this year it's been, I don't know what to call it this season or last season. The first Super League season, we weren't winning all these games. Some games were very scrappy, and the confidence wouldn't have been as high as it was the previous year. So when we do come up against these West Hams and stuff again, we're not thinking, right, we're going to smash these. We're going to, we beat them last time. They're thinking, well, we've just had a bad run of games, or we've only just won certain games. So yeah, it's all about the way they went into the game. And I think obviously the first season it was a lot of confidence, and I don't think it was as much this season.
Oh, breaking news, Dave. Man United chairman is looking for a director of football to sit alongside the existing structure, recruitment, the Aon training ground, and the women's football. So there'll be a director of football, hopefully. And I think, to be fair, actually, that's better for Casey. I think.
Is that for just the women's, or is that for the whole team?
Everyone.
Yeah, that's. I mean, I know it's a bit off topic, but I've been saying this for a while. Everyone's been slagging off Edward Wood about what he's been doing, but at the end of the day, he is there to make money, and I can't. If you can find me another chief executive who can make as much, get deals in, and as him, if he was working for anywhere else, people would be lauding him. It's just that the football wasn't so great. So now we're getting someone in to help on the football side, and he can just carry on making money. Yeah, that's a win-win for me.
Yeah, I think it's going to help. It's going to help Casey, because I think there was a lot of talk, wasn't there? Ed can't do deals, basically. Which, he's a businessman. He's looking to get the best. Get shrewd deals and all this. And I think, you need a football man in there. Football man or woman, who cares?
Yeah, football person, yeah. Whoever it is.
Person, who cares, yeah. I think it's really good. That is a bit of breaking news, exclusive. Just seeing it now come up on Twitter, and I saw it and I thought, oh, director of football, but the fact that they included women's football as well. And I think that's where it's going, And I think Ed needs to work on the commercial side for the women. I feel like it needs to be more revenue coming through that way.
Well, to be fair to him, I don't know if it's down to Ed, but the like the Remington thing, that was a lot of that was towards the women's side, that was a deal. Obviously they use the men like Pogba and stuff because it gets a bigger audience, but that was primarily for the women's side. That was, and even Collar, the arm patch, this thing. Yeah. They got a lot involved with the women as well.
And then Cadbury's this year's done joint. I think we're seeing a lot more joint things, and I think that's good.
One advantage we have got at this club, which I do think will help the women's team, is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, because his daughter is in the under-21 team at United. So obviously, never mind as a football man, as a father, he wants his daughter to do well and get into that first team, and have everything around the women's team be as good as it is for the men's. So, and we've seen him at a few games, and so no matter what, he is the manager of the men's team, but he'll have input on how the club's being run, and he'll hopefully be saying, we want more investment in the women's team.
Yeah, because that's what I think they need. I mean, I'm not gonna. Well, I will say now what I think, what I expect. It might have changed a bit, but I do expect to be fourth again next year. A lot closer than what we were. Hell, if we can get third, let's go for it. I think a final, though, now is needed. I think we've got to the semi-finals of the Country Cup. I think it's time to go that one better. For me, I think she's improved. I mean, people are saying, oh, she's not improved the first team. I think it has improved, because I think Stanny, she's might not be there, but I think, like you said, it's that competition. And I think people like Jackie, Katie, not knowing that they're going to be picked. I think this year's is helped Casey with, say, your Millies, your Toonies, Jess, Hanson, that hadn't really, even Leah, hadn't really played in the WSL. So she was probably a bit worried and cautious. Whereas I feel like, I don't know if you feel like this, Dave, now. There was times Bristol playing two defensive, playing Ladd and Katie.
Yeah,
and I think
definitely.
Bristol, mate.
That's because, once again, there was no plan B last season. It was just the same team every week, as if we're playing the big boys each week. So you hope, like I said, with Staniforth coming in, you hope it's changed around a bit. But as for league positions, I'm with you with a cup run. I expect us. Well, I'm hoping, especially. I don't think the FA Cup, but the Conti. I think we need to look at getting a final at some point. So I think she'll go for that. As for league position, fourth, but I would not be surprised if we finish lower than that, because at the end of the day, do I think we're a better team than the top three? No, especially with with what they're doing, and even like Everton, I think they've made some cracking signings, and I think they'll push us. And another team as well is Tottenham. They had the first season in the WSL, and I think they're in the same situation that we were. I think their second season will be a bit better.
I think they'll be better, but I don't think it'll be challenging us. I think, like you said, Everton. But I feel like
no, but I'm not saying challenging us, but it's teams where we were not guaranteed, but we got 3 points off them when we played. Next season, it might be closer. There might be a draw in there, and that's where we drop points. I'm not saying it league position, but they will.
I think, though, and it might sound harsh now, and you might think it's harsh. I think if we finish fifth, it's a failure. I think because now we've finished fourth. Maybe if we finished fifth last year, you could have said, all right, yeah. I think now you've finished fourth. There's no point looking back over your shoulder. You need to be looking forward. And you might not get the third, But I feel like finishing 5th, it's not what it's about.
Once again, it's about what players we're getting and what investment is put there. If everyone else around us is doing big deals, such as what City are doing, we can't be expected to finish above them. And even Everton, I still think Everton are possibly finish above us. So
that's a failure.
I just think I think United will be.
But I feel like it's a failure on the club part. And if
but I think Casey probably be talking to the upper management and saying, listen, if this is, say for example, say like the transfer window stops and this is what we got now, she'd be saying, well, we finished 4th last season, probably better than what we expected, but don't be surprised if we don't finish 4th next season because the clubs around us have made big improvements.
It's not good enough, really. Gary's just said something about the director of football. You need director of football to help the club going forward. John agrees with you, though. 5th. I feel like we need to, Fiona, in the league, we need to ensure you get teams like, I agree, because that's what's killed us. And I feel we need to get stuff. I mean, West Ham are improving as well, but I feel like, these players, for example, Millie, Tooney, even Amy Turner, Martha, Smithy, they need to get better all the time. There's no.
Of course, but that's why I was talking about. You get extra players in just to push them.
Yeah, Jackie even needs to get better. Hayley Ladd everyone needs to get better. And I feel like, there's a lot of talk of, oh, well, so-and-so is going to play with so-and-so. And no. It's blank. It's the canvas.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping. I'm not hoping, well, we've got Staniforth in, so she'll play with such and such. It's like, no. Hopefully Katie will do pre-season. It's going to be behind closed doors or whatever it's going to be. And she'll pick the best 11 out of what she's seen in pre-season, not on what they did last season.
Yeah, it should never be on that, to be honest. And then I think no one should be guaranteed, even Stanley coming in, shouldn't be told. I feel like last year maybe they needed to tell people, oh yeah, don't worry, he'll play, because.
I think especially the two midfielders with Zellum and Groningen. I think they knew they were playing every game. If they were fit, they would play no matter what.
Yeah.
And players do get comfortable doing that. You need to be, like I say, looking over your back, thinking, right, who's coming for my position?
And I remember, it was a game, and I remember we played Leicester, and Tooney was like, and everyone was clamouring for Tooney. I remember it. And the next game, I can't even remember what game it was. I think it was Brighton. And we won 4-0 with the same league team. But that doesn't mean we were happy. Like, obviously, we were happy, but you know what I mean? Tooney. And then, obviously, that complacency, they lost against West Ham. And then they came back with the same team that played West Ham,
that was it. That was an issue. We had a cup team really and a league team, depending on who we were playing. If you played badly in the league team, you weren't dropped really. And if you played well in the cup team, you didn't mean you'd then get. Well, like you do mention Tooney there. I think Tooney played brilliantly against Leicester, so she should keep a position for the next game. But that wasn't the way it was. It was, we just start the same 11 again. Failing injuries, it's the same 11 for the league, and they play the same system. When we were playing Chelsea, like you say, we played the same way against Bristol and Brighton and played people like that, and that's where we come unstuck.
Yeah.
And even compared to the last season, I know it was, a lower, form of competition. The other teams aren't as well, but we'd be all, if we knew we could beat a team, we'd go all out for it.
No, yeah, and I think we should. I don't know. It's not disrespectful. I mean, some people in the women's game might say, "Oh, it's disrespectful," but no, we should be going out there, and because that's what the top teams are doing. Arsenal put 11 past Bristol, so I don't understand why we couldn't at least put minimum 5. And I would go into if anyone was I was saying right, it's gonna be 5-0 because for me that's the standard. They're putting 11. We need to be putting close to that. That's why I was like at Leicester game, come on, more goals, because you knew it was a little team. Let's get the goals, and for me, Tooney, I think it was a travesty that she didn't play that next game because you can't score 5 goals and not play. And I think if you listen to Casey, she does say that that Brighton Bristol game, she's learned the most that she's ever learned as a manager. And I think now we're saying, oh, no one's position safe. I'm going to rotate more. Good. That's what we're saying.
This doesn't happen, but imagine in the men's team if we had Martial up front, and I know he's been scoring, and I think he's been playing brilliantly at the moment, but say like he went 5 games without scoring, and then we had an Europa League game, maybe against a bit of a lesser opponent, and the Gallo bags in, how many did Sooney score that game? 4? 5. And then Igalo bags 5 in. You'd expect the next league game to Igalo to start.
Yeah. And if he didn't, people would kick off. Even if we didn't win, people would still say, why is Igalo not playing? Because you can't score. I don't care what the opposition is. It's what people don't understand. It doesn't matter that the opposition is Leicester or whatever, or Leicester Devs. He scored 5 goals. She has to play. And, people saw it as, this is what really annoys me at the minute. Just because I say Tooney has to play, I don't care who moves out. It could have been Zellum. Tooney played against Tottenham, and I was clamouring for Tooney to play. She played against Everton that last game, and Zellum got dropped. If Jackie got dropped, it's okay. I don't care who gets dropped for it. I just, like you say, someone scores 5 goals, and then the next game they're just on the bench. It doesn't really help anything for me. And I feel, yes, you can have with keepers. So this is why I expect to happen with keepers. I expect Rambo to play every cup game. I think that she should play every cup game, even if it's against City, Liverpool, City, Arsenal, Chelsea. Even if that's not contributed, which can't be. But
I agree.
All those games.
Because once again, like I think with even like someone like Mary, who I'm a fan of, she got a bit complacent, not with her saves, but with like distribution last season. And there was no one behind her really, because there was Aurora maybe, but there was no one behind saying, they weren't saying, well, listen, Mary, if you every time you do a goal kick, it goes out for a throw in, we're going to replace you the next game. That never happened. But with Rambo, if she starts playing the cup games and does well, and you got to remember she's a young England player as well, under 20s. She's obviously, not just United, but England coaches think a lot of her. So she should be then saying, right, I want that number 1 spot at United. She's a United fan, we know that. So once again, it's another good thing, because it means that Mary's thinking, well, they're probably good friends, but she's thinking, well, I don't want her taking my spot. And Rambo will be thinking, well, I know she's my mate, but I want her spot. And it makes you a better player, and it makes you. I was talking about this on the radio the other day about people saying about De Gea. He's had a few clangers and all that, and people saying, "Oh, get rid of him and bring Henderson in." But for me, don't have them both in, because you got someone like Romero at the moment he's happy to be number 2. He don't care if he plays or not. Henderson wants to be United number 1, and so does De Gea. So the fact you got both there, and it makes you better players.
Well, I think what was I saying? I think basically that I forgot what I was going to say, Dave. I think you're right. I think Mary got overconfident in a way. And I love the girl. I love her to death. I love her all the time. Like, she's done everything for us. I love her off to death. But I feel like when we went on that winning run, it was oh, clean sheet. No, you know what I mean? Like Rick and all this, and people were gassing her up, and we were all gassing her up, and it was yeah. Then obviously, bang, that West Ham drop. And I mean, to be fair, then Rambo played the Conte, and then we didn't have another game, and then Rambo went on loan. But I feel like that loan, and I wish we had seen it all the way through. I feel like that loan really did a world of good, because then when we saw her in England, she looked like a different player.
Yeah, definitely.
Just said, hey, confidence is everything. And I feel like even for the older ones, though, even for like we've just said, Jane, Jess, I feel like if they know that they're not safe, kind of thing, and if the ones that are playing well know that they're going to get a chance, I think that's what we need to see a bit more of now. And I hope I don't think
when I mentioned Mary, like I said, distribution wasn't great. I don't think she's lackadaisical, thinking, oh well, it don't matter because there's no one to take my place. I'm not saying that at all. It's just you can't. Some games you're not on your best. But when you have got someone else behind you, you know, lighting your feet on fire, you're gonna be alert and you're gonna make sure. Right, I've got to 100% make sure now this goes right.
Dave, I know it's just a casual chat, but is there any area that you want to go into? I mean, a lot of people saying winger, people saying, you know, Gary, don't forget the girls have had a year experience. I think finishing 4th again. So we've talked about little bits of everything. Is there any?
Well, like I mentioned before, maybe defence. It's going to be a big year for me for defence. We're going to, like I say, with I think Millie's a rock at the back. Millie's one of our top players. Left back, Lotta really needs to show now that she's the left back. You know, she to be fair, I think the Everton game, I think she looks all right. You know, the last game we played.
Yeah.
But she's not really had that. She's one of the ones actually, compared to all the other players, where if she didn't play well, she was dropped. Where it probably would have been better for her to keep playing just to get that confidence up, and you know, because she's not had a run of games, so you're hoping she does well. It's a big year for her. I think if she doesn't do well this year, I think that might be the end of her. McManus, she's got to perform. She really does. You know, she got into the England team and she wasn't playing well for us. So I think, sends mixed messages to her, thinking, oh well, you know, not that it doesn't matter, but you just think, oh, I must be doing well if England calling me up. Right back, it's going to be Honor. It looks like it's going to be a tough ask for her, but fingers crossed she does the job. And everywhere else is just replacements, really. Just not replacements, but having them in to bolster the squad. But yeah, I still think we should. Hopefully, it might still happen. We get a guaranteed 15 to 20 goals a season striker.
I can't see a striker.
No, listen, I can't. This is just. I'm hoping for.
Yeah, I mean, I can see it being it really, which. I don't think it's a bad, but I just think it'd be a bit of a damp squid of a window. I feel like we just need that one, even if it's just a one winger, just someone in to replace. Because I feel like you say, the devs, they're all 16, 17. You know, hopefully we do see Maria getting some game time. I would like to see that maybe in.
Yeah, you'd like to. If we get like a team like, well, I was going to say Leicester, but I think they'll improve next season. But if we get a lower team in the cup, maybe not starter, but if we're 2-0 up at half time, maybe bring her on, just give her a go. But because she's young, she's small, but she's going to be a hell of a player. But like I said earlier, you don't want to burn them out, or if they have a bad game, just blow the confidence completely. You want to bring them in carefully, so when they do come in, someone like Greenwood, Mason Greenwood took out for the first team. He made his debut against PSG, a little bit part, and he played a couple of other parts. And he looked good, but he didn't look like he was going to set the world on fire. So he wasn't forced in there, where this season, they've used him when he's looked good and he's kept his place. And that's what you want to do. You want to bring him in at the right time. You don't want to knock the confidence at all.
Yeah, I think definitely. But a winger, definitely for me. I know John's sort of saying, Pacey centre back. The owner's saying this is a season for Lotta, agreeing with you. A good striker in the WSL scores 10 to 15 goals, and I think this year Jane Ross as well. I think
yeah,
like Lotta. I mean, she has to get the goals because I don't know. Get it? I feel that pressure on her. I feel sorry for her in a way. You know, there's probably more pressure on her than there's ever been on her. Not in a horrible way, but because it's Man United, the fans can be over the top sometimes. You know, even myself and at the stadium, I think we're very much probably getting used to that as well. Even though she played in WSL, I think this is a different kettle of fish, you know. So I feel for her there. But, you know, hopefully Jane can. Hopefully Ivana can get some goals where she's fed in a little bit. I don't know. She looks really good anyway. I've seen. But is there anything you want to add to that, Dave, about Ivana and Ross?
Yeah, I'm hoping Ross does crack on and gets her confidence up and bags a few goals. If she gets a good start to the season, I can see her scoring quite a few goals. I can't comment on Ivana because I don't I don't really know what she's capable of.
Oh, no, oh, this one. Is Molly Green going to go out again?
Personally, I don't know if she'll be at all. This is just my personal opinion. We brought in Staniforth. I know that was like got rid of Palmer to bring her in, but she didn't play really last season. And even alone didn't. She did well getting a couple of goals, but she didn't play that much because it seemed got cut short. I just think that if she's not going to be a part of the team, if she's not in Casey's plans to be on the, because do you think she's going to be on the bench? We've got, you count the midfielders, I can't see it really. So maybe personally she'll want to say, well, I want first team football, so either send me out on loan for the season or I'm going to move on somewhere else.
Yeah, it's a bit of a strange one. I think we all probably expected her, not in a horrible way. She's done great for this club, but maybe it's a bit of a surprise that she's still here. Obviously, COVID probably, like you say, she probably would have had all that game time at Sheffield, and potentially someone would have snapped up straight away. But she's not had a lot of game time. Clubs are probably thinking, no, they want someone else. I don't know, but yeah, I'll be surprised if she's still here come the start. I don't know what's going to happen. Whether she'll go straight on a loan to a club like for a season, probably. But guys, I think we're going to call it a day. Dave, thanks for coming on. Just a real chat. I think there wasn't much to talk about, but just getting another perspective, isn't it? And I think, another perspective, a bit realistic. It's things that me and you probably don't agree on, Dave, isn't it? All the time.
There's loads.
Yeah.
But that's a good thing. We disagree on things, but we can discuss it. It's not like the internet where if you have a different opinion to someone else, you blocks and everyone hates you. But it's just you discuss your differences.
Yeah, definitely. And I think we speak, and then you see where I'm coming from, and I see where you're coming from.
Of course. And at the end of the day, we still don't have to agree on it, but we can see why the other person, why they think that way.
Yeah, if internet was a bit more like this, everyone will get on maybe. Yeah, guys, thanks a lot for tuning in. Share it out. Like, share, subscribe. Dave, do you want to tell everyone where they can get you at?
Yeah, so Twitter at David J Pritt. Just past 700 followers, which I'm happy with on that. I've obviously got my academy account, which is on like nearly 11k now, but my personal one's I'm hoping to get 1,000 on that list by the end of the year. And on Instagram, it's just David Pritt. And if you're interested, I just post a lot of football related stuff. So if you're interested, go and have a look.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Dave. Speak to you soon, mate. Cheers.
Bye.